Hello. Today I'm going to be playing through some of Felix Horetzky's instructive lessons for the Spanish guitar. Felix Horetzky was born in Poland, and then he eventually moved to Vienna. His dates are 1796 till 1870. He performed with Diabelli and Giuliani, and actually studied with Mauro Giuliani. So he has a pretty good lineage there. He was quite a prolific composer. He wrote 150 plus works, and I've found quite a few of them in various places online, and they're really great pieces. Quite difficult actually. He did write some sort of pieces aimed at amateurs, but he also wrote some pretty virtuosic, substantial pieces. So I just wanted to read the full title of this method book because it's very detailed, and I'm going to put a link up to where you can download this method book and check it out for yourself. So here is the full title of the method book. Instructive Lessons for the Spanish Guitar, consisting of gamuts, passages in thirds, sixths, tenths, and arpeggios with cadences in every key, carefully fingered for both hands, composed and dedicated to Mr. T.J. Dipple by Felix Horetzky, Opus 33. So while it has a very long title, it's quite a short book actually. We have 11 pages in total, so it's quite a short book, but there is a lot crammed into those 11 pages. So I'm just going to play. I'm not going to play through everything, but I just want to begin with the first lesson, which is a little, I guess, a little study or a prelude with an interesting right-hand pattern, and he takes it through in quite a short amount of time. You go sort of through tonicizing different keys. You start in C, and you go quickly to G, you go to A minor, back to C. So it's it kind of, I think, is focusing a little bit on cycling through keys a little bit, and you'll see the following exercises are really heavily focused on that. So excuse me. Here is the first lesson. So it's quite short, but quite challenging for both hands, I think, and it's I think got a lot of musical interest there, a lot of interesting chords. Later on, and a tricky right-hand pattern to go along with that. So that's the first lesson in the book. I'm going to move to the third lesson now, which is on page 3. So this is an exercise that is really heavily focused on modulating, changing keys. So you start in C major, and then you go to B flat by its dominant, F7 chord, B flat to A flat via its 7th chord, so E flat 7, and so on. And then he provides this key enharmonically, so you have G flat major, and then it's enharmonically F sharp major. Going to E, So I'll play that in full without speaking in between. It's a great exercise because I think there's not too much of this kind of stuff in modern guitar books, modern guitar method books. You don't tend to find, at least from the method books that I've seen, you don't tend to find exercises like this. Yet when we play pieces of music, especially 19th century pieces, maybe like saw studies for example, you do get a lot of that kind of harmonic movement, you know, going through keys, cycling through keys quite quickly. So if you've practiced that into your fingers, then you'll be able to recognize that a lot faster in pieces and identify it and sort of understand it. So you might even be able to use it if you want to compose or improvise and you want to change keys. You have a sort of a pre-built sort of model to use. So that's the third lesson. The fourth lesson, again on page 3, is a similar thing. We're going to be modulating through the same keys, but this time he's given us a slightly more elaborated version. So we start. It's a little challenging exercise there in modulating, so I'll talk through this one a little bit. So it's starting in C again. So we're ending up on an F7 chord there, which takes us to B flat. E flat 7 goes to A flat major. G flat major, but he spells it enharmonically as F sharp major as well. And we have a B7 chord. That's a pretty recognizable chord shape there, which is what that shape there. That takes us to E. A7 takes us to D. G7 takes us to C. That's a great little exercise for modulating. It's actually quite challenging too. I need to work on that a little bit. So those two exercises are focused on major keys. And the fifth lesson, again on page 3, focuses now on minor keys. So it's a little bit different. We start in A minor, but we start on the dominant. So we have this E7 chord, which is quite an unusual chord shape here, but if you, that's the sort of the very common shape there. So it goes, and then we go dominant, D7, G minor, C7 to F minor. B flat 7 to E flat major minor, and that's very rare to see in music. So he's respelt it as excuse me, A sharp 7 going to D sharp minor, which is also quite uncommon. G sharp 7 to C sharp minor. C sharp minor, and then oops, mid minor. So F sharp 7 to B minor, E7 to A minor. Okay, so I'll play through that now just in full without interruption. Really interesting exercise there. Really great sort of left-hand little study as well. With the right hand, I'm actually plucking those eighth notes with one finger. I've actually seen in quite a few etudes where guitarists would indicate to pluck a repeating note on the top like that with one finger. I know that's a little bit of like sort of like almost like a heresy in guitar pedagogy now, but I think it was quite common then. You know, pianists do that a lot when they just play one note. They just do that with one finger, and you can really get this sort of very equal, even sound by doing that. I think if we pluck with two fingers, it should be somewhat unequal. Otherwise, you know, because each finger kind of has its own sort of sound and weight and strength to it. So, but you can also play this with two fingers as well. Okay, so I'm going to move now to, I'm going to skip a little bit of this, and I'm going to go to page 6, where the book moves to a different sort of section now. We have, he presents different keys. So we have C major, and he has a scale in contrary motion. So this is something that I think pianists practice quite a bit, but I've never seen this for guitar before. So we have and then down. So I'll just talk about that a little bit. So you have the C going up, repeating, that kind of repeating texture. And then in the bass you have a descending line. So, and then vice versa, when the line when the top line is descending, you have the bass line ascending. So I'll do that one more time. How he throws in a couple of those juicy chords. There, so it's a really sort of beautiful exercise to practice that you don't find much, I think, in guitar method books or pedagogy. So the second exercise is a kind of similar thing. You have the top line descending an octave, but this time you have a sort of a little counter melody in the bass, which is nice. It's kind of a sequence. Again, I think a beautiful exercise there. The next few exercises are scales in harmony. So as he mentions in the very long book title, you have scales in thirds, sixths, octaves, and tenths. So this is an exercise in thirds. So that's something you would find a lot in 19th century studies, for example. You would find that kind of writing, passages in thirds a lot. This one's in sixths. Makes a great exercise for the left hand, I think, shifting and moving around excuse me, moving around the fretboard. I think it kind of, I don't want to be too biased, but I think it beats some of the exercises that we do, like this kind of thing. Shifting. There are a lot of exercises today. I'm not sure if they were around in the 19th century, but there are a lot of exercises around today which are very, how do I say it? They're very guitar-centered. They really focused on the guitar itself, the sort of the shapes and the fingering patterns that we have on the instrument. I think they are great exercises, but I don't think I think we shouldn't neglect these, because these are very musically focused. If you can play scales in thirds, sixths, octaves, and tenths, then you'll find that your ability to sight read and understand music will really dramatically increase, because you've practiced in all of those patterns, those musical patterns. And I think they're great technical exercises too. I mean, I'm not playing them perfectly. I've been playing them for quite a while, and there's still a lot of work to do. They're interesting and they're fun, and you can do a lot of different things with them. Anyway, I'm going to keep going. So we have exercise 4. We have a scale in tenths now. So tenths are like the inversion of a third. So a third would be E to G, like this, E on the 4th string, G on the 3rd string, and then F to A, G to B, etc. But if you take this E down an octave, you have tenths there. Oops, that should be an octave at the end. There we go. And then descending in octaves. Again, a really fun and challenging exercise, I think. I like how he's doing little scale patterns. It's not just a scale. It's not just a scale like that. You have a pattern like that, which is, you find that in music. You find patterns, sequences, and that kind of thing in music a lot. So the more you practice those, the more you'll be able to see them as chunks in music and be able to read through them faster and learn them faster. So exercises 5 and 6. This will be the final thing that I discuss and that I play through. They focus on scale patterns just with single notes now. So, but what he's done is he's using slurs. So he's slurring like in accordance to what string you're playing on. So you play the C on the 5th string, so you just pluck it once. Then you play D, E, F on the 4th string, so you pluck that once, but you slur all 3. that in reverse. So that's a fun sort of slurring exercise there. And again, you know, I think a lot of guitarists practice, and I used to practice the Shearer slur left hand slur reach development exercise book, the blue one, and that has these sort of very guitaristic slur patterns, you know, like that, which you basically never find in music. So they can be really good for the hand, but you do find you'll find those everywhere in music, especially in 19th century pieces. Little excerpts of scales, little scale patterns. You'll find them all over the place. So if you've practiced them in already, I think you'll find that your ability to sight read and learn, especially 19th century pieces, will improve quite dramatically. So the final one is basically the same thing, but he sort of extends the range a little bit now. So and then I'll give this one a try. Just like a little fun kind of study there. At the bottom of page 6, you have sort of some contrast. You have the slurring, and then he's indicated these to be short, each one plucked, and then you have a diminished chord going to a 1/6 chord, or a cadential 6/4 cadential. I can't remember the name of it. You have a 1/6 going to a 5/7 going to a 1. Very typical way to end a phrase or a piece. So the last few pages just have the same layout, but for different keys. You have G major, D major, A major, E major. Oh, and then the last page, I should actually talk about this. The very last page has cadences in all major and minor keys. And this is, again, something you don't find so much in modern guitar method books. So, there's a cadential formula in C major. 1, 6, 2, 6, 5, 7, 1. And then next to that he has a cadence formula in A minor, the relative minor. So we have 1, what's this, 2, 6, 1, 6, 5, 7, so he does this in all keys, which is really cool. You don't see that too often in modern guitar methods. You might see cadences in C major or G major, but this is in all keys, which is really cool. You can practice these in different ways too. You could apply some arpeggio patterns. Download my 19th century arpeggio Bible, and there's 50-something pages of arpeggios there. So, but even better than that, I encourage you to create your own arpeggios or improvise your own arpeggios. I just sort of did that then. It's probably in the book somewhere, but you could do keys. This book is public domain, it's free. I'll provide a link once the video is done where you can download this book. I hope you use the materials and start to, if you don't practice cadences and modulations and scales in thirds and sixths, octaves and tenths, I really strongly encourage you to start and just give it a try and see what it does for your playing. And I think it does. I mean, for me, it's opened up a whole new world. that good song. A whole new world of musical possibilities, because whenever I see a modulation in a piece, I understand what's happening because I've practiced these exercises. If a piece is moving from C to A minor to G to E, whatever it is, I'll try my best to sort of break it down and understand what's happening. And so, yeah, hope you download it, and I'll be in touch soon with more method books. There are plenty of them from the 19th century. They're all public domain. They're public domain. That means they're free. So I think we need to use them because they have great exercises, great information that can help us be more musical guitarists. So thanks for listening.